arrow,
arrow,
arrow, arrow, arrow.
Are you okay? Are you all right? Oh my gosh, that's an arrow. Arrow. Should I pull it out? I don't know what to do.
Sound off. Ready.
Ready.
Totem pole.
Ready.
Stereo.
Ready.
Arrows.
Ready.
Arrows.
Ready.
Arrows.
Ready.
My FBI contact told me that a Mexican gangster recently turned up at a hospital in Washington State with an arrow wound. Arrow wound. Why are they after you?
Don't imbibe the crime scene.
I found her here, sprawled over the table, with an arrow out the back.
Break the arrow off the job. Just be brave, okay? Be brave.
Hey, look! This thing's got an arrow. It's pointing. It's Where? Right here.
Had the M92.
Are you kidding me?
No.
I was gonna ask you about the black arrow. That's what I thought you was gonna say.
No, man.
We talking about the Serbian submachine guns. See, the M92 is a good gun, but that black arrow, let me tell you something. Take your back off.
Serbian. You're gonna sit here on your ass. You just took an arrow, and I just sat by your bedside for 3 days.
Ooh, what do you think you're doing?
Shooting at a target?
With what?
An arrow.
Really? I didn't see you draw one from your quiver.
Are the arrows ready?
Yeah. I'm on it.
Scheme.
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 So, what are we going to do about your little Ponzi scheme? Ponzi scheme.
Ponzi scheme.
Our hospital trust is funding a pilot scheme.
Whatever his insane scheme, it will surely be incomplete without you.
Obviously the first step of a larger scheme, something that we would stop.
Does she still serve at your behest? Is this your scheme?
Of course not. That's for burning down his apartment in an insurance fraud scheme.
There could be over 1,000 people that were affected by Donald Hauser's pyramid scheme.
But you're not finished. Then you learn max into your selfish scheme.
Hold on. I specifically tried to talk her out of getting wrapped up in my selfish scheme.
Trust me, college is just another lame-ass pyramid scheme.
They hand you a free...
I assume this was Branson's scheme.
No.
I confess I...
They call it multi-level marketing, but it's a pyramid scheme.
There is no one else in town who can pull off a scheme like this. No one else he can fully trust.
artist,
Artist.
The paintings. They're really...
Yes, you are an artist.
No.
Look, I'm a numbers guy. You're the artist, Ray. You know, from a financial standpoint, I like it.
Now, you know, you're always carrying this notebook around. You obviously fancy yourself as an artist. Why don't you sit in some design classes?
Let's see. Unpredictable, spontaneous. George is a commercial artist, but wanted to be Picasso, which is exactly what I needed.
Here's a staple. It's one of my best dishes. What kind of Australian chef doesn't have lamb on his menu?
You are the artist. I'm just the money guy, okay?
Let's take a break. Everybody rinse out. We'll be back in 10.
Wow, Paul. Great scene. You're really an artist.
I knew that you liked to rough. I'm precise. I'm connected. An artist.
You will take any crap you dish out because you're the artist?
Silas Gunnard.
It's Gennard.
Hi, I'm Maxine, the artist. You're amazing.
Translucent.
Are you an artist?
I dabble.
I tried, but the romance of being a starving artist wore off very fast.
Assistant has arrived.
Alex?
You're dead to me. I still don't see why I can't be the artist.
I'm sorry, Reeves. I don't punch a clock. I'm an artist, and I write when inspiration hits.
What's so great about Tom Jones?
What's so great about Tom Jones? What's so great about Picasso?
He was an amazing artist.
Peer.
Peer. Peer. Peer. Beer.
Your peers can thank you, little man. Let's go, guys.
My reports were always more thorough than my peers. My peers.
I'm serious.
I am without peer. Without sane peer, anyway. Which is functionally identical to being without peer, full stop. I can only extend so much of myself to a non-peer, which means I can only extend so much of myself to anyone.
You'd be forced to forge true connections within your peer group, allowing people to see the true Liz.
How dare you come down here and judge me?
We only serve on this peer review panel at the behest of Dr. Murray.
Not. Do you really think a jury of my peers in New York City will convict me?
An adult presence in the classroom that 8-year-olds will view as a peer, someone that they can consider one of their own.
And who will judge me? You?
Not me. A jury of your peers.
The objective, to peer into every shadowy corner of the ATCU.
Is that students both act in a safe and responsible manner and respect the rights of their peers.
Well, you really peered into my soul.
Us all you want, sir. You cannot hide from a jury of your peers.
Foremost.
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 You care, but first and foremost, you're a pragmatist.
But first and foremost, the people financing this need to know these facilities are escape-proof.
Said, and you're right. First and foremost, you need to trust your brother or sister on the job.
You're the world's foremost arms dealers.
I gave you the chance to be the foremost artist of your day.
Miss Watson first came to my attention as America's foremost expert on home security, so finished the manuscript.
He's been writing the same thing his whole life.
His research has made him the world's foremost expert in the geography of New York City. And I came to a series of realizations. First and foremost, that it was wrong to make you the face of my problem. I give you Long Island City's foremost purveyors of tamales, pupusas, and of course, horchata. You cohabitate with one of the foremost forensic document examiners on the planet. You might have saved yourself the expense.
Faith of the Seven, I give voice to the will of the gods and am their foremost servant in this world.
But, first and foremost, they taught you this.
Array. Array. Array.
Array.
Array.
Listen, they're here at the satellite array at Saddle Ridge. Do you copy?
Yolk of egg or currant jelly. But here, he uses his whole array of kitchen stuff.
That's why we have submarines and bombers.
That's why they developed Dark Star. It's a radar array that guides and detonates atomic missiles in the ionosphere.
Healthy.
Can't you just erase the bad parts?
My memory is a holographic array.
This time, be warned, I do not stand for offensive language in Aurora. It's not from anyone.
I slipped a picture into a photo array for the neighbor, and he picked it out right away.
Unit. If we can identify the man that called in the tip regarding the barrel, then he might be able to pick the killer out of a Ferrara family photo array.
That's all you got?
There's more, but on thinking back, I was momentarily distracted by your dizzying array of hairstyles over the years.
Island of Oahu. Yeah. And the radar array for Honolulu International Airport.
John Doe's description.
Okay, good. I'll run the list to the DMV and see if I can put together a photo array.
I don't think that's going to be necessary.
Using the next transmitter array to link to the Australian remote frequency.
Cable. Cable. Cable.
Cable.
Cable.
6 feet and change. The same, Mr. Miller, who just ordered cable, and a phone line at his new house outside of Houston.
Not to my liking is the understatement of all time.
There's cable TV, cable TV, cable TV.
Internet?
Same deal. Also, satellite, cable TV, drop phone, car.
Yeah, I mean, it was, the whole thing was crazy. I mean, poor bastard felt sorry for him. I think he actually thought we were the cable guys, you know.
What happened here?
The Ethernet cable still works. Would you plug in your tablet, please?
Oh, you decided to remodel?
What?
Did you try to rig casualty power cables from main 1?
There's no way to do it. The main cable riser's melted.
Mona Lisa, my Breaking Bad season 5. They gave me cable in prison so I'd stop killing the guards. Right.
Previously on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
So Garrett says your family's like the cable version of the Kennedys.
My older brother, Christian.
We got you!
Hey, what are you guys filing taxes up there? What?
Oh, listen, we're tossing you a cable. You're gonna have to trust us.
The rowing machine I saw is broken.
Oh, it's my fault. The cable broke. I haven't been able to replace it yet.
All right. On behalf of Ghost Guys, the greatest ghost hunter show on the internet or cable access, I'd like to thank you.
Occupation. Occupation.
Occupation.
Occupation. Occupation.
I noticed in your I-file, under occupation, you put down unemployed. That's not true now, is it?
Ortega y Gasset defined genius as the ability to invent one's occupation. Occupation. I am a writer, a poet.
Daka Paramova. Are you aware of her occupation? Occupation.
Most of the time, they were relaying sewage pipes blown apart by the Germans during the occupation.
Cop.
An unfortunate occupation in this part of the world.
Roman occupation of Britain. Given Mr. West's former occupation and the infiltration skills demonstrated by his limb thief, this is in all likelihood the work of a field operative.
There's never been an armed occupation in history that wasn't overthrown by force.
Human body wasn't built for occupation. Sun angels can't bear its limits. They go mad and keep them in here. Early in our occupation of this facility, we were attacked by Reyes and suffering.
Except we aren't alone anymore in resisting your occupation.
1978, which called the Israeli presence in the Gaza Strip and West Bank, quote, an illegal occupation.
Can I see that?
Sure. Did you write those words, illegal occupation?
No.
Add.
Add.
Ed. Ad.
I'm reading your ad.
Looks good, huh?
Yeah.
Stunning entertainment center. Fine.
No, not something stupid, something huge. No. I saw an ad for this video. People climb that thing every day. We could totally do that.
Oh, what about this one? It looks exciting. Wind in your hair, hot babe on your arm.
That's a car ad.
Ooh. Look, we just haul stuff to make some extra cash. Put an ad on Craigslist. This guy, Carlo, wanted us to help him with a couple crates.
Hey, seen my ad on local cable? Bob's Bugs Be Gone?
Yeah, how do we make Bob be gone?
Looks like your first ad campaign.
It would be.
Okay,
gotta go.
Citizen.
Peggy?
I'm just showing Peter a campaign ad, Eli. That's all. It's not an ambush.
Miss Holmes, where do you work?
In Chum Hum's advertising department.
You're the evil advertiser who approached the plaintiffs about an online ad.
Well, I hope not evil, but yes.
And we integrated the corporate logo into the jungle background, creating not only an ad for the clothing, but for the company itself.
Would you be willing to cook naked?
There's an ad for a naked chef?
No, but if you're willing to cook naked, then you might be willing to dance naked. And then
You were just at Stuyvesant Park on a whim.
No, I read an ad in today's newspaper. I thought I'd be able to interview some Cobra spy descendants.
Turns out it wasn't a picture of a boat, it was an actual boat. And it wasn't $11, it was $11,000.
What? Cash, didn't you read the ad?
I think it's fairly obvious the answer to that question is no.
Oral.
Oral. Oral.
Oral.
Oral.
Both of these times, I wanted oral sex, oral sex, oral sex.
Definitely not.
Are we having sex?
Yeah, but not oral. Oral.
I wasn't going to mention oral.
Okay.
Sensitive tissue. They're used in pediatrics, urology, and oral surgery. Oral surgery. Oral surgery.
You don't know that movie? Ghost gives Dan Aykroyd oral sex.
Oh, God. How many times must we tell you? I am not dentists. I am parodontist. She is oral surgeon.
I'm sure they probably just did oral or...
In the past 12 months, have you had unprotected vaginal, anal, or oral sex?
Yes.
Tell him the truth. We can't pay our rent, life sucks, and you need wine before oral.
Don Titus.
An oral infection doesn't explain his disorientation and auditory hallucinations.
Just a friend. We're doing an oral report together. He's really nice.
I'm sorry, what was that? I had a little stroke after oral.
I started having oral sex at a very young age. Maybe 13.
Notify. 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 Notify.
Touch it or its contents. Notify me, notify me, notify me, or Agent Calloway immediately.
A lawyer who receives documents not intended for them should refrain from examining the documents and notify the sending lawyer.
Well, then that someone is our terrorist. We have to notify the Bureau. We have to notify the Bureau. We have to notify the Bureau, the Department of Homeland Security.
No!
I'll run the samples at the lab and notify you if I turn up anything.
Whatever items you took from the vehicle immediately. I will have someone check it out today and will be sure to notify you if anything develops.
I want to officially notify you that this is now an FBI investigation.
You gonna notify the Bureau?
Yeah, I'll call him right now. You police?
State Department. Did anyone notify the family?
Yeah, they're here.
Notify the FBI team on the ground and patch me in.
What are you going to do about it?
Well, for one, notify the DEA.
Good.
No, we are not. Notify the dad's sexual partners, notify his employer, his landlord, notify the police.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, well, I'll notify the judge that you intend to post bail.
Donate. 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 Donate.
Donate.
Alternate proposal.
Go on.
You donate eggs. You donate eggs. You donate eggs. We will place them in cryogenic storage.
When the storm makes landfall, I'm going to ask people to donate to the Red Cross instead, and I'll be heading out east to volunteer.
But that's the beauty of the swirl. The swirl? You both donate, you both donate, you both donate, they mix it up, fertilize the egg, you never know who the father is.
Hi, would you like to donate to Asperger's?
Oh, no, we're just stopping by.
Harry Dean, are you tapped out?
Hardly. I do this periodically so as to have use of the jar. I bag the coins and donate the proceeds to charity.
My name's ASAP. I'm running a tight door. I got a bouncer from a local club to donate his time.
Mr. Locke, is that you donated one of your kidneys to Adam Seward.
I'm hardly Wonder Woman.
She mobilized the community to donate clothes, furniture, appliances, all to help them start over in their new rental.
Drive-time radio.
Yeah, well, now he has some wetlands that developers want. We're trying to get him to donate for preservation.
Very well. If you die and donate your body to science, I promise to slice your brain like Canadian bacon.
Yes, my God.
In lieu of flowers, the department chair is asking that everyone donate a bottle of Febreze.
Donate it to a good cause, help someone out.
I'll put it to getting you a medical degree.
They were willing to donate over $1 million for that. These filters are only worth $200,000. I'd say that's a bargain.
Integrate.
Integrate. Integrate. Integrate.
Integrate.
You out of your mind. Stan, you told me to integrate. That's what I did. I integrated. He seemed like a nice guy, and I didn't want to upset him and risk being unpopular.
Unpopular? Who the hell asked you to be popular? Integrated? Discreet? Nondescript?
My program is unique because it integrates information. Integrates information. Integrates information.
Mr. Rackham, we need minds like yours, and young people integrate complex data more easily than adults.
Earl Warren should be shot and hanged. That dumb son of a bitch judge is trying to integrate our schools.
Well, the buildings need to be integrated better, so you can maximize light capacity here.
You gotta work a little harder to integrate the Gain and Scott.
Yeah.
Why? So I can be more like you two assholes?
Hey, I'm studying integrated circuit design here.
Well, to be honest, at Oxford, my economics professor favored a fully integrated four-quadrant strategy, cohesive across all media, presenting an instantly accessible.
You're missing a wastewater retention tank, a designated hand-washing sink, even an integrated fire suppression system.
We're in an election cycle. Everything's about perception. I want to integrate the policy and the press teams. I want to work with cabinet members and agency heads.
Athlete. Athlete. Athlete.
Athlete.
Athlete.
Marijuana?
He was an athlete. Took real good care of himself.
They don't have drug, alcohol, or mental health problems, and many of them are star athletes. Star athletes. Star athletes.
I'm not like you, Sutter. I don't know how to make her laugh and stuff.
Dude, you are Marcus West, man. You're the star athlete. You're star athlete. You're star athlete. You're the class president. Like, you are awesome.
You were smart. You were popular. You were a great athlete. I mean, hell, you had a full ride through college.
Famous athletes, like Tim Tebow, he takes kids to prom all the time, and everyone loves him for it.
Really? You're hardly a famous athlete. This is a really big deal for her.
Listen, doesn't matter.
Until now. The contract may be voided if the athlete is banned from a race due to doping.
Is he gonna be okay?
Is he a dancer, professional athlete, or a foot model?
None of the above.
He should lead a normal life.
What? This is my stuff. It's my athlete stuff. It's Judas. He was good at sports. I was good at fleeing. It's like I'm some athlete being recruited. First class, in a limo to the airport. Kids get to school okay?
Yeah, with the usual hysterics. Chris is convinced he's the worst athlete in the entire 8th grade, and Dana's convinced she's a lesbian.
Number. Distributor can match the number to the store that sold it. She's a serious athlete. She's been there often enough to be remembered.
Stretch. What about leptospirosis?
That's a good fit. If you ignore the fact that he's a pro athlete who looks like the Incredible Hulk, which means he's got to be on steroids, which is a better fit.
Launch. Launch.
Launch. Launch. Launch.
Hey, it's not funny. Those people helped launch this place. The launch, my friend, is over.
No, Abby, I'm trying to tell you, we can't launch today. We can't launch today. We can't launch today.
All right. Hey, let's hit Dunkin' Donuts and we'll launch this thing.
So we're doing an unmanned launch to see if we can actually get the sub back on the ship.
Sir, we have pod launch on MS-1.
What would you have done? Postponing the Priox launch would have put Ribacor into bankruptcy.
What are you talking about?
Yes, some jewelry launch and another intimate dinner party for 150 people.
Big business. Here's our card. Please pass them out to all your friends and help us launch our exciting new business venture. Thank you. That sounds needy. Well, our projected cupcake business growth ratio isn't where I want it to be, but with autumn here, we have a lot of hope in the launch of our new pumpkin spice flavor.
Honey,
Kid hated his work, and now he's pushing Elizabeth to buy one.
You want me to launch into an investigation based on a Picasso snafu?
Peter.
Components I built are on the International Space Station, and I get a ticket for launching a model rocket in the park.
I don't know if the ticket was so much for the launch as it was for you telling the policewoman, you have to frisk me, I have another rocket in my pants. Sure, why not?
Well, then this is the perfect time to launch a blog with an interactive comment section.
Rocket which shoots you into a low Earth orbit, or it just sits there on the launch pad because the Kazaki mafia sold the rocket fuel on the black market.
Mystery. 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 Mystery.
Mystery.
Mystery. It is a mystery. The curse struck, and when the smoke cleared, most of us have been torn from this land.
Oh, leave that for smarter minds than me. Science is a mystery. Is a mystery. Is a mystery.
How the hell did that happen?
Total mystery. Total mystery. Total mystery. He did say something before he passed out, though. Banana.
It's, big mystery. So.
Well, it's a mystery, George.
If it really matters that much, look at this, all right? Mystery solved.
Who was the mystery man on the phone?
His name was Fuck You.
It's the same thing I say in you. It's a mystery.
It's unlike any language I've ever encountered.
That is far from its only mystery.
Money behind?
If there are guys,
Who did it?
don't know. It's what we call a mystery.
Man of mystery.
That's a conversation for another day.
We're like the guardians of some secret cosmic mystery.
I will go.
No, please, milady. There's no mystery.
Resolve. 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 Resolve.
Resolve.
With an eye toward the future, with resolve in our heart. Let us remember this history.
We'd see a bunch of our students witnessing complete resolve in the face of an unbearable obstacle.
It's 3 goddamn days away. I want it resolved. I'm willing to be the one to resolve it.
And please pick up the phone. We haven't resolved anything. I know you're there.
This is so embarrassing. I'm really sorry.
Fine, don't deal with it.
It has been brought to our attention that it might be beneficial on your end to resolve this issue in a time-sensitive way.
He's lying. It's a snuff box.
Don't test my resolve. I do not care for you to die on this day or any other.
It tested my resolve. Forestalled here.
Could Clarice be so easily swayed?
She's never lacked resolve.
How's Amber gonna send him dirty pictures?
You underestimate her resolve. No one gives up everything just for a corporation. Not with that kind of resolve. This is personal to him.
I must not lose my resolve. I will march forward, even if I have to do so alone.
Then I will take it as one, but it won't soften my resolve.
If it did, you wouldn't deserve the compliment in the first place.
Desire. Desire.
Desire.
Desire. Desire.
And for the first time in your life, you felt desire.
Partner! Splendid! What? There she is, boys. The object of our unholy desire.
Baby, you set my soul on fire. And girl, you are my heart's desire.
Who are you? What do you do? What is your relationship to Beverly? Are you aware of her special condition? What are your motivations, intentions, and desires?
And I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Well, that's unfortunate because I'm the only person here who has any desire to talk to you.
So you can have sex with this boss too?
I have no desire to have sex with that French fry.
And this is why there's no sale.
Not for lack of desire. Because he or she will get away with murder. Perhaps even murders. Why? Because we desire Woodbine above all others.
Hopefully, this will eradicate the intense desire you two have for one another and put you back in a more normal and even emotional state.
I may have let my desire for revenge overstate his skills.
Is that why he came back? Guilt? A desire for revenge?
Your bedside manner still leaves a little something to be desired. I was thinking you might stop by and we could discuss it over a nice cup of tea. Decima will be able to acquire any information, any secret it desires, and sell it to the highest bidder.
And that...
Dispense.
Dispense.
Dispense. Dispense. Dispense.
You're making a mistake! Relax, my friend. I've decided to dispense with the boiling cabbage water.
I believe we can dispense with the bedding, Your Grace.
For change. We must dispense justice. Dispense justice. Dispense justice.
Agreed.
He'll be well taken care of, Mr. Wilder.
I think it's about time we dispense with the formalities.
Thank you. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thank you. This year we are going to dispense with our traditional encore.
Elysium. Dreams dispensed daily. Bring your own container.
The rest of us, having dispensed with primitive superstition, will turn our focus to the issue of being in reality for our next class.
Let's dispense with the cat and mouse phase if you don't mind. We're in a hurry. I imagine you are as well. I can dispense with old cravings and bad habits, but...
In the days before the Targaryens, the faith militant dispensed the justice of the seven.
Would you find me very ungrateful if I dispensed with his services?
Diffuse pattern, evenly spread, the way a suppressor would dispense the gases.
But they did hear one shot.
Yes, the last...
Ceremony.
Ceremony. Ceremony.
Ceremony.
Ceremony.
Give me a hug. I am so sorry I missed the ceremony. It's a ceremony. It's a ceremony. Look at her. So beautiful.
Here's a ceremony. Here's a ceremony. Here's a ceremony. It's ceremonial.
Ceremony's on the 14th. If they push it a week, I can bring you in. This is winter break. The op was classified. So, the ceremony's classified. The ceremony's classified. The ceremony's classified.
Your people are going to cover the wedding ceremony itself, right?
Yeah, we're okay there.
Anyway, we reconnected in 2007 at an award ceremony at which she shockingly was honored.
What do you mean she wasn't? She was helping me look for Lucy before the ceremony started. Lucy was playing down at the beach in the morning. It would make sense that Savvy would have gone there.
Mommy?
Mom, I have a job to do.
At least come to the departure ceremony. You could give the traveler's blessing. Think of it as a goodbye gift for your mother.
It's a traditional Hmong ceremony. It's supposed to call back the kid's soul.
Hasn't he heard of Star 69?
Why ceremony? Because I said so.
For both of you, so pay attention.
You have to go to some stupid ceremony?
Nope. I'm picking up my diploma at the guidance office and getting the hell out of there.
There's no ceremony in the fall. I'll walk with everyone in the spring.
So we use a sweat lodge.
Yeah?
It's a ceremony. Cleans your liver, your spleen.
Get the show on the road, all right?
No, we must wait until your father gets here.
He doesn't give a shit about the ceremony. Trust me, he'll be here for the after party.
No, he gives shit. He tells me.
Guideline.
Guideline. Guideline. Guideline.
Guideline.
Right? There's just like a couple guidelines. 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 One. You gotta give it up all the time.
Come on. I authorized this operation with very clear guidelines. Guidelines. Guidelines.
Guidelines, guidelines, guidelines.
The usual full workup. Alias, cover story, contact, evac number, right?
Federal guidelines recommend 2 guards are present when transferring high-risk inmates.
Do you always stick to yours?
It's not even really a code.
No.
No, it's more a set of guidelines than a binding ethos.
Pay us all that money. Remember what the guidelines were. What the fuck are you talking about? There are no guidelines.
Be a flagrant violation of HIPAA guidelines, not to mention the patient's privacy.
At times, Watson presents certain moral guidelines, and they can be...
It establishes guidelines to ensure the safety and well-being of the Vesson community.
We have very strict training guidelines for all of our employees.
Inferior.
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 Tennis. When you play an inferior opponent, your game suffers.
This is inferior product. Inferior product. Inferior product.
You proceeded to prove you were inferior by disappearing into a syringe.
Dr. Younger, you don't honestly believe that black people are stupid, do you?
Intellectually inferior.
If they've used an inferior alloy, in this case, too little sulfur, then the sound the guns make will only be half as loud as they should be.
Who knew Mother Inferior was a smoking hottie? No wonder you're playing handsies with her.
My mother-in-law is a licensed pilot, as she keeps reminding me, part of a larger effort to make me feel inferior.
Hey, shirt, do they sell men's clothes where you got that?
That's funny because women are so inferior.
In the fact that the tumors lifted up the inferior vena cava and is adhering to the aorta. This.
Experimental.
Experimental.
Experimental. Experimental. Experimental.
On CS804. It's an experimental drug. It's experimental drug. It's experimental drug.
There's a specialist here in Paris has an experimental drug she's willing to test on me.
Experimental. Experimental. Experimental.
In exchange for your cleaning services, I could offer you an experimental drug. An experimental drug. An experimental drug.
Max, you should have told me about the bed situation. Untested experimental drugs is one thing, but 3 to a room, that's barbaric.
The soil in the Valley of Peace was perfect for her experimental flowers.
I'm not telling a mother who's scared out of her mind that our best shot is a magic trick. It's not magical, it's experimental. Stem cell treatment.
That's an experimental treatment.
Next day, they're trying an experimental drug. Fingers crossed. Next day, his body rebelled. He's in a coma.
It's arising. If they go above 41 degrees Fahrenheit, we'll lose the primordial sample, the sample from the cruise ship, and the experimental vaccine.
But he got through like you did, and there are doctors here that are helping patients with a new drug. It's experimental.
It's from the Institute for Experimental Physics. They want us to present our paper on the properties of supersolids at the topical conference on Bose-Einstein condensates.
It was obviously effective. Leonard grew up to be an experimental physicist.
Dr. Robbins came to me and she said there might be something they could do for Lily after all. Something experimental.
Bleed. Bleed.
Blade.
Bleed. Bleed.
Does the locus coeruleus normally bleed that much? Bleed that much? Bleed that much?
No, but your thumb does.
Not with him. Look at that. He's going to bleed to death. Bleed to death. Bleed to death.
Cannot touch it or hold it. Ideas do not bleed, bleed. They do not feel pain.
Corpses look human. They are not. They do not think. They do not bleed.
You don't want to do that, Mike. He'll bleed to death right there on the floor. I thought you wanted to keep him alive for a little while.
I got a feeling this guy's about to skip town for good and bleed a boatload of cash on his way out.
Substructure for you.
We'll make her bleed out down there. We have to drill faster.
Let's travel this road. If you wish to see him bleed, let it be my doing. Come on, stop it.
No!
You bleed for nothing.
Cafeteria, guess what? He's going to bleed out all over the county's fine linoleum.
No, stop!
You're hoping to bleed to death now, aren't you?
You're Henry's grandfather.
Enormous.
Enormous. Enormous.
Enormous.
Enormous.
Very difficult situation here. If we don't get this little matter cleaned up, I stand to lose an enormous amount of money, and I don't like losing money.
Otherwise harmless substances can interact in a way that generates enormous bursts of energy.
I was too scared to laugh. You were enormous. You were enormous. You were enormous.
Can you get these cows out of the way?
Got it. They're enormous. That one's pregnant.
The spreadsheet is enormous. I'm sure it contains the scoop of the century. Request I must deny.
You may not realize that as your husband left for Naples, he withdrew an enormous sum from our coffers.
An enormous helping hand. Still. What is it? You look peculiar.
And yet, not 48 hours ago, a Swiss bank, acting on behalf of an anonymous client, purchased an enormous position in the currency.
He's been through an enormous amount of stress for a 9-year-old. His immune system has been radically stressed.
We control Nassau. And the ransom we are going to demand for her is going to be fucking enormous.
We're never to this scale.
Lazarus was a man of enormous appetites.
Does seem like it.
The biggest breakthroughs almost always come after the most enormous setbacks. You just need to be patient.
The grid, by feeding an enormous energy burst back into the grid, causing it to overload.
Oliver, I'm registering an enormous spike in thermal activity.
Oliver, the whole place is gonna blow.
You have to get out of there!